Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Life Reset Collective. My name is Josh. Today, we're talking about a topic that's pretty heavy. You're running out of time to become who you want to be. Do this now to avoid running out of time. This is what we're talking about. This is the channel where we empower those who are going through a life reset or who think they may be preparing to go through one or who have already gone through one and are rebuilding their life. I've been through two major life resets, both times due to divorce, but that does not need to be the only reason you go through a life reset. There are many reasons you may be going through one. You have your own reasons, and I welcome you to the channel. All right. You are running out of time to become the person you want to be. That is true, and that's a hard fact. We all have a mortal, finite lifespan, okay? But that does not mean that you are out of time completely. It does not mean that you don't still have enough time left, okay? Those are two different statements. You may be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or older. You may have gone through a divorce, lost a career, experienced a financial disaster, moved to a new place, lost people you loved, or simply woke up one morning and realized that the life you built no longer feels like the life you want. And when that happens, it is very easy to look at the years behind you and think, I missed my chance. I should have figured this out earlier. I'm too old to start over. But the real danger is not actually that you are too old. The real danger is spending the next 5 years convincing yourself that you are too old, okay? Because 5 years from now, you will still be 5 years older. The only question is whether you will also be 5 years further into building a life that you actually want and respect, that you desire, that is good for you, okay? So today, I want to give you 3 things you need to do immediately if you are beginning a life reset, or if you're in the middle of one, or if you're trying to rebuild after one, that are not magic tricks, okay? These are practical principles supported by research, research into motivation, identity, behavior change, and social support. And all of them can actually help you to get past this fear that is too late for you, because it's not too late for you. But you may need these 3 steps to actually make it happen at this stage of your life, okay? So let's start with step 1. Decide who you want to be. Actually decide it. The first thing you need to do is stop asking just the simple question, what do I want? It's very important to start asking yourself, who do I want to become in my life? Most people approach a life reset by creating a list of outcomes they want. They want to lose 30 pounds. They want to make more money. They want to find a better relationship. They want to move somewhere new, start a business, get organized, feel confident again. There's nothing wrong with these goals. In fact, these are good goals. But goals become much more powerful when they are connected to an identity. Instead of only saying, I want to lose weight, you might say, I want to become someone who takes care of their body, who actually prioritizes that. Instead of saying, I want to make more money, you might say, I want to become the person who creates valuable work and takes responsibility for their financial future. Instead of saying, I want a better relationship, it might be more effective to say, I want to become the person who chooses healthy relationships, who becomes the kind of person who those relationships are attracted to, who no longer abandons themselves to keep others happy, okay? Psychologists use the term possible selves to describe the versions of ourselves that we imagine becoming, as well as the versions we are afraid of becoming. Research suggests these future identities can influence motivation and self-regulation, especially when they are connected to realistic strategies rather than remaining vague fantasies. And this does not stop mattering as we get older, guys. Research involving middle-aged and older adults has found that optimism and confidence in one's ability to reach a hoped-for future self are associated with more positive perceptions of aging. Other research has found that possible selves remain dynamic even in older adulthood. People continue forming new hopes, new fears, and new directions for their lives. You're not required to remain the person you became during the hardest period of your life. You are not permanently defined by your divorce, by that job you lost, by the years you feel like you wasted, by the mistakes you may have made, or by the version of yourself that learned how to survive when things were difficult. But you do need a direction in order to move forward toward where you want to go. So here's something that you can actually do today. You can take out a piece of paper and you can write, 1 year from now, I want to be, and then you can start describing that person, okay? Then you can finish that sentence in the major areas of your life. You should use these as helpful areas of definition for who you want to become. So you might want to say, I want to become someone who prioritizes their health, their work, their relationships, their finances, their character, their daily lifestyle, right? Prioritization comes at the top of our effort. We want to put the most effort towards the things we care about. But part of the problem is if we don't have the hope or the belief that we're actually going to achieve that, it becomes difficult to invest in that because it feels like a waste of energy, right? So don't write what you think would impress other people. Write what would make you respect yourself. You're not creating a perfect fantasy version of your future. You are choosing the direction in which you want to walk as you become the you of the future, the better version of you in your own eyes. Because you cannot build a new life while remaining completely loyal to your old identity. And this brings us to step 2. Turn your new identity into small scheduled actions, okay? This is where most life resets actually succeed or fail. You must turn your new direction into behavior. A new vision of your future can make you feel inspired for an afternoon. But inspiration without structure usually evaporates the moment life becomes difficult, okay? You do not rebuild your life by thinking harder about rebuilding your life. You actually rebuild it by repeatedly doing things that actually belong in your new life, the life you want for yourself, the life of the person you want to become in the future. This is why vague goals are dangerous. Saying things like, I want to get healthy, I want to start creating, I want to meet new people, I want to improve my finances. Okay, these are well and good, but where's the when? Where's the where? Where's the how often? Where is the exact methodology? Okay. Research on implementation intentions shows that people are more likely to follow through when they create specific if-then plans that connect a situation with an action. Instead of saying, I intend to exercise, a person might decide instead, and this would be better. If it is 7 Monday morning, then I will put on my shoes and walk for 20 minutes. See, you're removing negotiation from the moment. You are firmly deciding on a course of action. So take the full identity you wrote down before and ask yourself, what is the smallest action that would provide evidence that I'm actually trying to become that person I want to be? If you are becoming someone who takes care of their health, your first action may be walking for 15 minutes after dinner. If you're trying to rebuild your career, then the actual action may be spending 30 minutes every weekday learning a valuable skill, contacting a future client, or even just working on your resume and then submitting it. If you're becoming financially responsible, your first action may be looking at your bank account every morning and tracking every dollar you spend and deciding today what you're not going to spend money on so that you can save money. If you're rebuilding your social life, your first action may be attending one recurring group, class, church gathering, volunteer project, or community event every week. Because if you don't actually meet people, that person will never actually become real, right? Notice that none of these have to be huge or dramatic. They're just everyday things, and that's really the point. A life reset usually fails when someone attempts to replace their entire existence in one violent, crazy big burst of motivation. But that's not how real change happens, guys. Real long term change, a real life reset, happens when you wake up and decide that you're going to do the small things every day, exercise every day, change your diet a little bit, launch that company one video at a time or one client at a time, make 3 new friends, meditate for 15 minutes, stop, with this bad habit. Not all of them, just this one to start with. You reinvent that personality little by little habits, okay? And that's what we mean by, you turn into your new identity in small scheduled actions. Okay, this is a huge, powerful tool for becoming the person you want to be as you reinvent your life. And then we go to step 3. Change the environment and the people around you. I keep saying this. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But most people resist this basic piece of advice because they want to believe they can change through willpower alone. But this is not the case. You need to build an environment that supports the life you're trying to create. And that's where the real care and intentionality comes in. This includes physical environment, digital environment, and social environment, okay? It's incredibly difficult to build a new life while everything around you is continually pulling you back toward the old one. You may be trying to stop drinking while spending every weekend around people who only want to drink and they keep offering drinks to you. You may be trying to become more ambitious while surrounded by people who mock ambition and play video games all day. You may be trying to leave a destructive relationship while talking every day to people who keep convincing you to tolerate it because they tolerate their destructive relationships and that's just normal to them, right? Research on the maintenance of behavior change identifies supportive environments and social support as important influences on whether people are going to be able to sustain new behaviors over time. Research on relationships and thriving also suggests that supportive relationships can encourage growth, exploration, and progress toward meaningful goals. This does not mean you need to dramatically eliminate everyone from your life and go monk, though I will admit, in some cases, this actually might not be a bad idea. But what it really means is you need to become honest about the people and situations you're spending time with and in, and then ask yourself, are these people actually helping me, or are these situations dragging me back to my old life? If you truly want to become the version of you in the future that you want to become, you may need to abandon these places, people, situations, and start moving in a very different direction. You may need to meet all new people, be in all new social circles, or to be honest, you might even just watch YouTube videos of people or situations like that to help you bring yourself more in alignment with that. Because here's the truth. You are not actually going to run out of time to be who you want to be if you do these things that we're talking about today, right? If you actually decide who you want to become and you actually turn your new identity into small scheduled actions and you stop spending time around the people and environments that drag you back to your old self, you can become the new person you want to be. You'll be amazed at the progress you can make in 1 year. But if you stay stuck in those old patterns, you're going to run out of time. I'm not trying to scare you, friends. I'm trying to be honest with you. If you want to schedule a call with me and talk about any of this, link is in the description. You can also hit that subscribe button and comment. Let me know where you are at in your life reset. Friends, I care about you. Do not get stuck in old patterns that are going to keep you from becoming the person you could become. You're not out of time, but don't let yourself run out of time because of these people, these places, these environments. This is the Life Reset Collective. We provide support, encouragement, help, and motivation to those who want to reset their life. I'm so glad you are here, and I hope you come back, friends. Be encouraged today that you are not out of time, but do the right things and actually make those changes to become the you of the future. Thank you so much for coming back. I will see you amazing people on the next one.